We live in a twilight world and there are no friends at dusk. Let's do a little recording, shall we, as I haven't done one in a while. I tried to do quite a few yesterday and they just weren't happening. I must have tried about 10 times doing a recording and I just kept going off topic and I felt myself rambling and I just weren't in the mood. And you know when you just get sick of you hearing your own voice and trying to make something work and it just isn't happening, you just got to call it quits, you know. But here we are. We are in October. Somewhere in the beginning of October. It's night time here for me in the UK, and we got another clear skies at night. And what I've noticed lately is daytime, very, very cloudy. Nighttime, crystal clear. Again and again and again. Now, why is that? If we're going to go down the route of controlled weather, there's obviously stuff happening in the daytime they don't want us to see. That would be the main reason to block the sky. They don't want us seeing the activity going on up there. Now, whether at night time they don't give a fuck or they themselves are looking for signs from the gods, who knows? Because if you were ever going to see a message from the universe, it's going to be up in the sky at night time looking at the stars. Back before the mad year of 2020, I was doing a lot of stargazing. Really enjoyed it, man. I mean, I would just, especially in winter, because obviously it gets dark earlier and you haven't got to stay up as late. But yeah, I got quite a few dark skies areas around me. And yeah, it was interesting, man. Very, very interesting. Beautiful for a start. Good for your soul. But I would see shooting stars. I saw Comet Neowise on a regular basis, which was quite mind-blowing. And, well, I recommend it for anyone, Anything that gets you off of these hypno-rectangle black cube devices, anything. Getting back to nature is always the key. I'm going to keep saying this again and again and again. So I'm definitely going to start doing that. Get some starlight. Because, we all get our sunshine. We know about vitamin D from the sunshine. But what about starlight? Starlight has got to be good for you as well. It has to be. And the moonlight. And as I've said before, I guarantee you there are messages within the stars again and again. But we're not paying attention. We're not looking up. We're looking down at these goddamn smart devices. The worst thing that's ever come into our existence is a smartphone device. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it's harder and harder to stay on this thing. And what I've noticed is just as I'm at the moment of, throwing it all away, ending my Patreon, ending it all, regards to my online presence, something big will happen and pull me back in. It's almost like the simulation knows I'm just about to go out that front door and they pull me back in. Almost like a toxic relationship, I don't know how many of you guys listening have had a toxic relationship, but what tends to happen is they push you and they push you and push you. And just as you've got one foot out of the door, that's when they say, okay, I'll change. I won't do that horrible thing anymore. They'll wait till you're literally one foot out of the door, bags packed. Then they'll address the problem. And you get pulled back in. You show compassion. You think, things will be different this time. And then a month or two goes by and you're back to square one. And it happens again and again. What I've noticed though, this month in particular, or the last couple of weeks, is that we're, you know, I don't know what you call it, the NPC weather, the NPC kind of mindset on social media is just really bad. Like, it seems like you can't just put out a post on Twitter without someone piping up and taking it the wrong way and completely missing the point. And I don't know if they're doing it deliberately or they're genuinely missing the point. But it just, like, kind of kills your soul, you know, because you just put out a tweet and you just want to... My approach is I put a tweet out and I just walk away from it. I throw it out there and I leave it alone and I just don't care whether people like it or not. But when they're constantly saying stupid things underneath, it pulls you back to that tweet. And then you have to explain it and break it down and really bring it back down to a 2D level. And you realise you're just wasting your energy on something that you never really cared about in the first place. But I've also noticed that other people are having it as well. I also noticed that a lot of the people that said to me, you know, in the beginning, went out of their way to private message me and say, you know, I'm with you till the end. I'm going to stay as long as you stay, have now blocked me. I just find that very, very interesting that the ones that went to the real extreme of saying, like, you know, like making out they were my brother holding my hand have now blocked me. It's like kind of, it's just so extreme, you know? So extreme. I just don't get it. And it seems like it's because I never replied to their direct messages of lately. One person I just didn't reply for about a week and that was it. Blocked me. All because I didn't reply for a week. It's like, what the hell is this, man? We need to all grow up here. People that I thought were quite chilled out and balanced are getting, you know, easily rattled and got to behave like that, you know? It's interesting. No, I don't know if that's them kind of struggling with what's going on right now. Maybe it's finally getting to them. Maybe they're having a breakdown. Maybe they're just like that in general. I don't know. It's not something I'm going to waste my time on anyway. That's for sure. I don't really care. You know, I've been alone most of my life, man. I'm a lone wolf and I always have been. And I'm going to carry on disrupting the matrix with or without anyone. I don't really care. In fact, I actually move faster and operate more efficiently on my own. So, yeah. But moving forward, I don't know. You know, a lot of people I like and respect are saying that this is the winter, you know. This is the winter when shit's going to happen. This is the winter when the 33rd Pfizer Brigade start dropping dead in the street. I've made it clear I'm very skeptical about that actually happening because I don't believe the Matrix works like that. I believe that the Matrix works a lot better on the illusion of something happening than actually making the actual thing happen. I don't think they care about trying to kill us. I think it's far worse. I think they'd rather keep the NPCs alive and milk them for their loosh. And the illusion of, you know, a nuclear bomb, a deadly virus is so much more effective than an actual nuclear bomb or a deadly virus because those things can get out of hand, but they'll also take out a lot of their cattle. Why would they want to get rid of their own cattle? Why would they want to get rid of their own yield, their own profits, their own food source? It just doesn't seem very logical to me. So yeah. For those of you that are watching this on YouTube, which is probably a day later than it's been out on Patreon, I've got a picture here, an old black and white picture from World War II of some guys standing next to some very small tanks. And it has no relation to what the hell I'm talking about. It's just quite a cool picture. I mean, the war in Ukraine is exactly like it's always been. Prop tanks, strategically blowing up certain areas that's got no one in it. It's always going to be like that. It could go on like that for 10 years. The propaganda will keep swinging from Ukraine's winning to Russia's winning to Ukraine's falling back to Russia's falling back. Ukraine is running out of weapons. Russia's running out of weapons. Ukraine is a really high-tech, unbeatable army. Next thing you know, it's a dog shit army that needs more money. Yet all you will see is images of a tank being pulled around by a tractor, and that's your proof of war. I'm still yet to see anything of concern and worry yet. That doesn't mean the illusion of war is not going to escalate to a global participation event. If we line it up side by side with World War II, I think it's about year 2 or 3 inwards when a second country gets involved and a major city is captured. That's when it escalates into what we would call a classic world war, when multiple countries are now involved. So in World War II, the Germans took over Warsaw and Poland and whatnot, and it kind of wasn't very much more than that. It was kind of a lull for a year where no one really took it seriously, and it's only once they started marching into France that it escalated up and up and up and up until everyone was involved. And as ridiculous as World War II was, as much of a hoax as it was, as much of a prime example of illusion warfare it still was a hell of a lot of people involved, and most countries were on narrative. And it would have been interesting to understand, or to be a fly on the wall in that situation and see where people like us would have fitted into that situation. Us real ones that don't really fall for propaganda and are not easily fooled. What would happen to us? And that could happen in the future. What is going to happen, for example, if the UK gets mobilized to go and fight Russia in Eastern Europe? Now, I'm 35, so I don't know where that stands within like a military draft. I'm probably too old, but I'm sure they'll try and give me some kind of role. From my understanding, when an illusion operation reaches that kind of critical mass, everyone has to be involved for it to be pulled off. Now, what you got to understand is the people like the Karens, the Agent Smiths, I would say like most of the police force and about 25% of the military will be tasked with investigating and shaking down the people that are not participating in the show. They want to know why, because they will straight away try and claim you're some kind of treasonous spy or saboteur. So we know we haven't got a shortage of Karens and Agent Smiths that are ready to go and do that, go door to door looking for non-participants who in their eyes will believe are spies and separatists. Yeah, all of the police force, all the civil servants right now are just bumming around in regular times with their fake and phony jobs. Their new task and role will be to root out dissidents and separatists within that country. Like I try and like picture in my head like what would happen. I mean, I'm quite a hard man to find, but at some point, I imagine there'll be some kind of ID system, and you know when it's your turn to go to the shops and buy food, and you don't have an ID system because you're not participating in war, there might be armed guards there, kind of like pulling you aside and saying, "Well, why haven't you got an ID? Wait here while we go get the police. You need to be investigated." Now, I don't want to speak about this topic too much because I don't want to, like, you know, talk it into existence. I'm just kind of like wargaming how it could happen. And from what we've seen in the scamdemic and what I saw with my own eyes in Ukraine, you know, these NPCs are the most dangerous characters on the planet. Because they just go with the program, like beep, 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 like a antenna in the back of their head. They just go with the program, and yeah, I don't know. Then again, there's a part of me that would love to just put on a uniform, jump in a tank, and rag tanks around and do it just for the shits and giggles about it, you know. My only worry is my soul. I got a feeling if you participate in any form of war, even if you don't kill anyone, the fact you're participating in a war that's purely based upon fiction and LARPing, you're still bringing fear upon other living creatures. I don't know how that's going to affect the weight of your soul at the end of your journey once it gets weighed against the feather of truth. That's my concern. I don't know when you go to the underworld whether they're going to be so as kind as to like let you off because you knew it was a show, but you participated in it anyway. I don't know. That's something you've got to consider. We live in a twilight world, and there are no friends at dusk.